A lovely day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes.
Good morning, hello, it's me again. I've got to make a film about moles, another film about moles, because I kind of promised people that I would do a film about the reasons for mole control, and it'll probably turn into a series of films because I won't be able to get it all onto one. In the meantime, I thought I'd give you a few gardening ideas, and what's prompted that is I've got a new toy which I'll show you in a minute. But I thought I'd just mention this little beauty here. This is a Dutch hoe, which will be familiar to most gardeners. It's actually one of a pair of hoes. There was a larger one which is currently residing in the bottom of our water tank for reasons that I won't go into now. These two hoes were inherited by my old man from his grandfather in the late 50s, and they're still going on strong. I love a Dutch hoe. Dutch hoe is a fantastic tool if it's used correctly, in my opinion. And the more observant amongst you that have seen this shed before will notice that I have got here a number of what are called wolf tools, and these are a great idea because you've got various tools like, oh, he says, knocking everything over, like a little cultivator like that, which snap onto to a handle, so you can have one handle and a multiple number of tools. They're a great idea, and given the fact that the ancient Dutch hoe is now wearing out, it's getting gradually smaller and smaller, I decided to invest in a new wolf Dutch hoe. These things, wolf tools, are made in West Germany, sorry, showing my age now, aren't I? They're made in Germany, and they come with a 35-year guarantee, which sounds a lot, but actually in terms of garden tools, when you compare them to proper old-fashioned English stuff like this, which is got to be more than 70 years old, 35 years suddenly doesn't seem quite so much. So anyway, yes, I bought myself a Dutch hoe attachment which clicks into place like that, and as you can see, it's nice and shiny and new, and I need to go and use it. In all of these things, particularly with a garden, I am no expert. I do have some good horticultural blood running through my veins, and I have some very fixed ideas about how I do things. That does not necessarily mean that the way that I do things are the correct way or the best way, but just the way that I do them. There are some great people on the internet, on YouTube and on Twitter, like English Country Life, Grow Like Grandad, people like that, fantastic gardeners who really know what they're doing, and I've got every respect for them. But the reason I'm mentioning hoes is because I've seen recently a few people that have been struggling weeding their plots, and the thought of spending days on my hands and knees weeding out plots fills me with nothing but horror. So I thought perhaps I'll just show you how I keep the weeds under control on part of our plot, and how I use a Dutch hoe. I do love a Dutch hoe. Great invention. Anyway, we'll go off the end of the plot. I'll try and do a little bit of filming down there and show you a few bits and pieces. Okay, that's on. Okay, the first thing to say about this, this is our brassica bed, and the first thing to say about gardening in general and the way that we do it is that we're not organic, and I'm not against the use of chemicals as and where it's necessary. I really don't buy into the glyphosate scare stories, so occasionally I do use a bit of Roundup here and there in the garden, but only a small amount. And when you look at this bed, it doesn't look like it's got weeds on it. And to be fair, it hasn't got weeds that you can see. And the reason for that is that about once every 7 to 10 days, I run over it with a hoe like this. And the key thing is that what's happening is that the weeds are being killed before they emerge, before they show themselves. By just disturbing the surface in this way, it's killing them when they're at the most tender stage of their life. So by doing this,
I keep the beds free of weeds. If you can see weeds in your bed, you've left it too long. That is my opinion only, but that's the way that I do it. This brassica bed is 12 foot wide by 18 foot, so it's it's a decent sized plot of land, and this took me less than 5 minutes to do. So if you times that by the sort of 4 beds that we've got, I suppose the whole lot would take me about 20 minutes. In fact, it doesn't, because obviously there's a lot of crops there. I've just found a shotgun wad, plas wad, there in the garden. It probably came from the compost that's been put onto the asparagus last year, but I would imagine that it's been there for a very long time, and it just goes to show that these plastic wads are a big issue. And again, I don't buy into the fear stories about lead shot, but if people are going to change to non-toxic shot, there's potentially going to be more plastic wads used in the countryside, and they are a big pollution issue. And I hope that the new biodegradable wads will take off. Anyway, this isn't about shooting and about wads, it's about gardening. And as you can see, just running the hoe between the plants like that, being careful not to touch the plants themselves. This is quite a depressing bed for me to see this, and to see those purple sprouting broccoli plants that look so miserable. They were actually late transplants, because the rabbits got into the plot this year and wiped out our brassicas pretty much. We have had a few decent cabbages, stonehead cabbages I've got there, and primos, very, very good little variety of cabbage that. I'm very impressed with those. And I've got some winter cabbage, spring cabbage that I've just started off in pots that will go into next year's brassica bed in a few weeks' time, I would hope. But you can see there, looking at that it's quite a simple operation. It doesn't take very long. Obviously the best time to do it is on a nice hot sunny day, because the heat of the sun really helps to kill off the weeds. Today isn't a particularly sunny day, but it needed doing, and as you can see, it really doesn't take very long. So for those of you who are struggling to weed out your beds and spending hours and hours and hours digging out weeds, please, you don't need to do it. Clear the bed in the spring and then run the hoe over it every 7 to 10 days, and hopefully you'll end up with a nice clean vegetable growing area like that. Anyway, enough from me. I'll be back probably in a few days with some thoughts about mold control and why it's necessary. Probably start off with obviously the biggest mold control areas, which is the agricultural areas, and why you would control moles in agricultural areas. As I said earlier, it'll probably turn into a series of films. So for those of you who hate gardening and want to listen to me rabbiting on about traps and moles and pests, then that'll be the ones for you to watch and listen to. I need to get some footage together of mold damage, then I can add to that. Anyway, I'll be off now. I'll just show you a quick close-up of what the hoe actually does into the ground and how it works. Wolf tools I can highly recommend. We've had these for a few years now, and we've got a couple of handles, and the tools themselves are very good, very versatile. Anyway, I'm off. Catch you all again. Cheers, bye-bye.
Along the stacks on foot, the master's on his way.